Okay, so fun fact, TwitchCon is actually happening this weekend, literally like right now as we speak. And it's really cool knowing how a bunch of creators get to come together and just do a lot of like different crazy things, like hang out, go to parties, drink, you know, all that cool stuff. But one thing I realized about TwitchCon and, you know, just basically any creator social event is that it gets really awkward. Like, think about it for a second. A bunch of nerds and weird gamers are all coming together and basically hanging out. That's like if I got like every clique in my school, like the jocks, the nerds and everything, and we all sat each other down for an assembly. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. Like, you got like the really hot chicks on Twitch that are like, you know, like showing like their cherries and stuff, and then we got like the really awkward dream stands in the background going, oh my god, like let me speed run this, baby girl. Like, dude, like I don't even know what to think. But today's story is about how me going into that awkwardness was really weird, and me, especially as a Twitch affiliate, well, things change a lot. So what is going on, you guys? My name is Bubba, and welcome back to another crazy story. So this story takes place, funny enough, back in 2017. When I was in 2017, I'm not gonna lie, I loved Twitch. I loved gaming. I loved this whole YouTube content creation thing to the point where I eventually became one, like, you know, a couple of years later. But still, I fell in love with Twitch, and I fell in love with the whole platform itself until recently nowadays. But still, by the way, if you guys do want to follow my Twitch, I do stream on there in random moments. So go on there, click notifications, and watch me stream live. But I remember one time I was watching one of my favorite streamers. And it was just some random person, to be honest. I don't know what their Twitch name is anymore because it was so long ago. And he was telling everyone about how he was going to be at TwitchCon and how cool it's going to be, and, you know, to meet up with him. Basically what every other Twitch streamer is doing nowadays. Like, be honest here, like, who here hasn't heard of Twitch and basically like TwitchCon? And basically everyone was all excited in chat saying, I'm gonna be there, I'm gonna be there. And me in my head, I'm thinking, why don't I go to TwitchCon? Why can't I go to TwitchCon and hang out with cool kids and gamers like me? So I remember I went to my parents and like, Mom, Dad, I want to go to TwitchCon. And luckily enough, that year we were going to San Diego for a family trip. So I remember I went up to my mom and dad and I'm like, Mom, Dad, listen, this is a big deal for me. This will be my entire career in one place. I need to go to TwitchCon. My mom looks at me and she's like, you want to go to TwitchCon? You want to go hang out with weird gamer boy? And my dad looks at me and he's like, to be honest, my son, I don't think there's a point of you going to TwitchCon. Like, what is a Twitch? Isn't that like a disability? And I'm like, no, Mom, Dad, trust me. I know what I'm talking about. This is important to me, Mom. I remember they were both like, kind of like, if you can pay for your ticket, you can go. And I'm like, bet, watch me. So I remember what I ended up doing was I went up to like one of my friends and I'm like, hey man, I need to figure out how to make money. Is there any way you could like make this happen? He looks at me, he's like, for what? And I'm like, dude, I want to go to TwitchCon. Then he told me, oh bro, I'm going to TwitchCon already. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, dude, I have a Twitch account and everything. Like, I'm gonna be going as an affiliate. Huh? And he's like, yeah, man, just like, dude, if you want to go to TwitchCon, just like come with me. I'll buy you a ticket. Like, my dad doesn't mind buying you a ticket. And I'm like, bet. So I remember me and him and basically our families combined each other to go to San Diego. And when we got there, I remember I spent one day with my family and the next day getting ready for TwitchCon, and I was basically with their family, well, my friend's family, I should say. We were all hanging out, basically just chilling there. And I remember me and my friend were getting ready to go to TwitchCon, and as we were going downstairs and everything to go like, you know, out of the hotel, instantly I see a celebrity. Now, I don't remember what this chick's name was. It was some like chick that like showed her cherries on the internet a lot, but I don't know. She was hotter in person than on camera, surprisingly. And I remember I was like nervous. I'm like, dude. And my friend's like, what? I'm like, dude, that chick has cherries. It's like, oh yeah, it's a partner streamer. Partnered. Like, dude, I was mesmerized by this chick, dude. I don't know why. I felt like it was celebrities everywhere. So I remember we got to TwitchCon, and I remember I went in there under Persian Guy Gamer, which was my old gamer tag, funny enough. Really awkward, I know. And when I went in there, I remember I was like kind of just like walking around and like basically seeing all the streamers combine each other. Now, reminder, TwitchCon is really cool, but at the same time, it's really awkward because, you know, if you're not a somebody in there, you're kind of like that fan that just walks around. And if you're like, you're an affiliate, that's cool, I guess. Like, yeah, you get to meet some people, but partnered people, they get like this whole lounge to themselves, to get everything. And me, when I saw the partner lounge, I'm like, dude, I gotta get in there somehow. So I remember I'm just walking around with my friend the whole time, and we're just chilling, walking around. And I remember there was one girl I saw, and she wasn't wearing like a badge or anything. And I remember I walked up to her, I'm like, hey, like, are you here seeing like all the cool Twitch streamers? She like looks at me and laughs. She's like, how long have you been watching Twitch for? Oh, like a while now. You know, I'm just trying to like check it out, see like what's the vibes in TwitchCon. I do mostly YouTube, but Twitch is pretty cool. She laughs and she's like, how many subscribers do you have on YouTube? At this time, I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't a flex to say I had 300 subscribers. So I kind of lied to her and said 3,000, thinking that was a big number. But then she looks at me, she's like, oh, like not bad, keep it up. As if she had more than me, which later on you guys will see why. But anyways, I remember me and her, she was basically like realizing that I was kind of alone because I kind of like ended up ditching my friend to go talk to this chick. And she's like, oh, like you want to like hang out with me and like my friends? Like we can just walk around and stuff. I said, sure, like I'm down. So I remember me and this chick and like basically two of her friends were just all walking around. These girls were like hot, like scary hot. And I remember like out of nowhere, like people just kind kind of like stare at me and her for some reason. And I'm like, dude, like, it's weird. Like, people are like staring at us as if we're like, you know, celebrities. And then she looks at me, she's like, oh, like, it's common. Like, you know, there's a bunch of Twitch streamers here and stuff. Everyone thinks they're a streamer. Like, it is what it is. I mean, I'm just looking and I'm like, okay, cool. And we keep walking around. Then later on in the day, I remember me and her, we went to go get lunch. We started eating lunch. We started talking to each other. And this chick was amazing. Like, this chick was like a normal chick, actually, surprisingly. And she was actually really cool. She wasn't like a weird dream stan, or she wasn't like, you know, a furry of like Jelly Bean's crew. Like, she was actually like a normal person. So then I remember I was like straight up to her. I'm like, so like, who do you watch on Twitch? She started saying like all like the mainstream celebrities on Twitch and stuff. And she started saying them by their first name. And at that point, something was like really off. Like, it didn't make sense to me how she knew them by their first name. To be honest, I didn't know them by their first name. So I straight up asked her, I'm like, why do you call them by their first name? And she looks at me like kind of like with her head tilted, kind of like, do you not know who I am? I look at her and I'm like, no, I have no idea. I'm gonna be brutally honest with you. I just thought you were hot. And she just starts laughing and giggling. She's like, oh my goodness, like, you're being so cute. Stop joking around. And we keep walking around with each other. At that point, I didn't know what to say. I didn't know if I was supposed to be like, oh yeah, I know you. Like, you're like that like broke girl on the street corner of Whale and Hum. I don't know. What am I supposed to say there? So I remember she like kind of like still walks with me and stuff. You know, she thought I was joking about something and I wasn't sure what at the moment. And we go around TwitchCon again. But then I saw that she was walking up the stairs to the partner lounge that was happening at TwitchCon. And me, I'm like, dude, that's the partner lounge. We can't go in there. I remember I like literally pulled her and told her that. And she like told me, oh, like, why not? Like, don't worry. Like, everyone's like normal there. Like, no one's gonna say anything. Like, just stick with me. And I'm like, no, like, you don't understand. You have to be partnered on Twitch to get it. She's like, oh, right. I should get my badge out. She pulls out the badge out of her pocket and straight up, I see some big streamer with a partner badge. Like, what? I'm like, wait, who are you? She literally looks at me again. She's like, you really don't know who I am? And I tell her straight up, I'm like, no, I'm gonna be brutally honest here. I have no idea who you are. I literally said earlier, I just thought you were hot. Then she starts realizing with her eyes wide open that I wasn't faking it. I didn't know who she was. I wasn't actually just some normal guy trying to walk up to her. Well, I was, but she thought I was like actually like someone that knew her, like, or like a fan or something. So knowing that I didn't know her, she kind of like really didn't tell me like her Twitch name or anything. We just kind of went inside the partner lounge and we started walking around, and I saw a bunch of streamers that moment, like all hanging out with each other, being all cool together. And I was like mesmerized. I was like, holy cow, I'm in a room with full of celebrities. Like, imagine like the biggest streamers and YouTubers you guys know right now, only one room, basically wanting to hang out with you and basically like chilling there. Well, they didn't want to hang out with me, but they were really cool. All sitting there looking, staring at you. Dude, I felt like I had like 1 million viewers at the time. I don't know. I felt like a celebrity basically, but I was in shock. And then I remember we sat down, me and her, and I realized some people started walking up, some celebrities we started talking to. It was really cool. But for some reason, out of nowhere, when we were sitting down, this girl that was partnered all of a sudden put her hand on my thigh and she's like, hey, like, do you want to get out of here? Like, it's kind of boring in here now. I'm like, oh yeah, sure. Like, we can go check out the cool Twitch Rivals tournament that's going down. She looks at me. She's like, no, like, kind of want to do something else. Sure. So me and her, we ended up actually like leaving the partner lounge. And when we left, I remember we went like down the stairs to like this like kind of quiet area that's kind of like near outside of TwitchCon. And like we were so close to TwitchCon, but we weren't like super close to it to the point where like, you know, we were considered like in TwitchCon. And me and her, we kind of like went to the like this back alley kind of way down in San Diego out of nowhere. And I'm like, what are we doing here? And she's like, honestly, like, no, for a guy that doesn't know me, like, you treat me really well. And like, I kind of find that hot. And she literally put herself onto me. And I'm not gonna lie, in that alleyway, me and her, we ended up doing the Devil's Tango. But as we were doing it, out of nowhere, like after like 10 minutes of me like going at it with her, there was a group of people, of literal like SIMPs. I can't say the name because I don't want to get demonetized, but you guys know what I mean. SIMPs that are literally walking in, seeing me and her in the alleyway, and they recognized her, but they didn't know who I was, so they started taking pictures. She started panicking. She started freaking out. And then I'm just sitting there like, okay, this is awkward. Yeah, long story short, she basically like straight up got her clothes on and ran away. And me, I put on my underwear on it. I'm just like, okay, cool, I guess. And basically she ran inside and pretended like none of it happened. But then a lot of people were walking up to me, that crowd of like SIMPs were like, do you know who she is? Like, oh my goodness, like, how do you know her? Oh my God, dude, you got the chance of a lifetime. Dude, she's just a chick is what I told them, but they didn't understand. I don't know. Apparently people can't fathom that like girl celebrities are actually just girls. Like, they're not like the celebrity part of them doesn't really mean much. And me being a creator nowadays, like, I'm gonna be honest, I still feel like a normal human, but I don't know. Everyone's weird that way, I guess. And then after she came up to me, she's like, hey, sorry, like that was really embarrassing. I should have like controlled myself there. And I like told her like, hey, it's chill. I don't mind. It's all good. Like, it's fine. Like, we're chilling. She realized how calm I was. And she was like, have you done this before? And I told her no, because I didn't want to tell her I was like a total F-boy. And she just told me, okay, well, like, here's like my room number. If you want to like come up and hang out, like, you know, I'm just gonna be like chilling and stuff. So I'm like, sure, why not? So I go up there and me and her were just hanging out, chilling. And yeah, long story short, over, me and her, we ended up doing the Devil's Tango again. But after when I came back home, I realized that, well, she deleted her Twitch account because she was super embarrassed of all the photos being posted about me and her. Yeah, I should have seen that one coming. I mean, she would have gotten a lot of followers off it. I mean, so would have I, but I don't know. There's many ways to get followers nowadays. Anyways, guys, that's basically it for today's story. Make sure you guys do leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. It means a lot when you guys do. And like I always say, fall for more embarrassing stories. All right, peace out, guys.
My name is Baba. I'm still on top of the world. Devil's taking with your mother. Of course, let's go. Should I make it a story? Let's click record. Got that TikTok with 2 mil hit different with some more. She said she love me, she kept. Should I exit for sure? I got 100K for my